Howdy y'all, TheJTJ here with Inkscape tutorial number 24, Spray Tool. Alright, the spray tool can be found in your toolbox right here. Looks like a can of spray paint. And if you select it, the icon will look like this. One of the biggest questions I get involving the spray tool is I can't get it to spray anything, I can't get it to work. Nothing's showing up when I'm using it. Most of the time people are confused with its functionality. This isn't like a brush like in other programs. You can use it to paint or spray things around. In Inkscape, it is basically a clone tool, or it duplicates an object. So how that works is we'll take the selection tool and you select an object. Then we can press A to get to the spray tool, and now we left click, hold, and drag. And it will duplicate that object. Control Z. So, if we look in the modes, there's 4 modes for this tool. The first one is spray copies of the initial selection. This is your initial selection, left click and hold, and it sprays copies. If we adjust the width, it just makes the brush bigger, so the area that it's going to spray these copies in grows. And if we adjust the mount, the number of the copies grow. So when we're making copies are independent of the original source shape. So I can do whatever I want to these, and I can delete them. I can manipulate this one, and the other shapes don't care. They don't mind. The next mode is spray clones. So if we select spray clones, left click, hold, and drag, it does basically the same thing at first appearance. However, if I go ahead back to this and select this and change its color, it'll change the color of all the clones. Whatever I do to this, the clones that have been sprayed do the exact same thing. Control Z. A. Bring up the tool. The next one is spray objects in a single path. So the difference is with this, if you notice the bounding box around, all these are considered a single shape, a single path. So instead of having to make a bunch of copies, if you were going to do something like put a gradient on this or do something weird, make a bunch of copies and unite them, this just does it straight up. Control Z. A. Finally is delete sprayed items. So let's go ahead and make some sprayed. Let's select this. Go ahead and press A. Spray some objects there. We'll come to the eraser tool, and then what this does is it just erases any sprayed object. So you can sort of refine your selection a little bit easier. Control Z. So we'll go back to the copies mode, and we discuss the width. These icons here are for pressure sensitive input devices. So if you had a stylus and a drawing board or a drawing pad, these you could turn on to make the pressure of the pen actually control width, amount, and the other sliders like that. Okay, rotation is the next one. So if we set this up, it's kind of hard to tell here because this is a symmetrical object, but if I make something like another shape, we'll press A, and then the rotation is on, and I go to spray it. Notice how they're all jumbled. They're actually turning on their axis. Alright, let's lower that down. Scale. Scale is going to make some larger and some smaller. Let's lower the amount so we can see that a little bit better. And you notice that it scales stuff down. Lower the width. Let's put scale back. Scatter is basically how far apart things are. So if you want to scatter them more, let's open the width up. It will push them out further, give them more space in between. and the focus is the opposite. It wants to focus everything in the circle. Alright, these settings here, I'm going to press 5, or generally speaking you would have both of these on. However, what they do is it's telling the Inkscape where you want to be able to spray. So with all of them on, we can spray anywhere. This one's apply over no transparent areas, so I'm going to left click, hold, and drag. And notice how there was nothing appeared over the blue shape. So let's alternate that. I'm going to left click, hold, and drag. Nothing's happening. And now it will spray over the shape. So this can be handy if you want to constrain the area that you're actually spraying into. If you have a background that you're trying to decorate or just some specific area, you want to adjust these. Prevent overlapping objects. If you turn that on and you sit in spray, it will not allow the objects to touch. And this offset can be adjusted down, and notice these are closer than those. Finally, you can use the color picker and it'll open the Create Tile Clones tab. Now, we're going to discuss creating tile clones in a future Inkscape tutorial, so we're not going to go over it here because it can be a little lengthy. But that's the basics of the spray tool. Please join us for Inkscape tutorial number 25, cloning objects. Thanks for watching.